What's going on, guys? This is Dave from PNP, and I'm here to talk to you about Underdog Fantasy. I just want to remind you that's the easiest place to play. There ain't too many places where you can win 20 times your money in the same night, utilizing higher lowers in the pick'em game. And now they have pick'em insurance, where while you won't win the same amount of money that you did before, you can miss one and still bring home some money. So if you do it 3 times, you can potentially still get your money back if you end up missing one. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com and sign up today and use the code PNP when you do. And the $100 deposit match still stands. Underdog Fantasy.
Panther Nation Podcast. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Oh, cut it. Cut right. And I would like to introduce one of the hottest podcasts in Carolina history. Let's go. Yeah. Talk, let's check. We got time to chop it up. Talking analytics and fantasy draft. You know what's up. Panther Nation representing, cause this is where we talk that. Talk that's so incredible. Make them rewind that talk back. Pause. Talking Panthers football, we discussing it all. On and off the field, you know exactly who to call. You know we the #1 podcast. Competition is non-existent, you need to stop that. Pause. It's an honor to be a Panther fan, pause. At Bank of America, that is where we ball. Coming to the jungle, then you gonna feel the pause. Winning the trophy for the city, it is the cause. Black, white, and blue, we going Carolina strong. And this is the conversation where everyone belongs. Discussing all the numbers and topics, you know we got it. We the hottest podcast and we poppin', let's go.
If it's too bad, then if the stable connection is too bad, I'll try to switch it up to my phone. But I wanted to get the show going. Put your questions in for now. I got to step out for a quick second. I'm also helping my uncle out as well, so it's going to be a hectic morning to say the least for me. All right, stand by. I'll be in 1 second. All right, you guys keep tabs on me and keep me honest with regards to how bad the Wi-Fi is, because I'm hotspotting today. I wanted to do it directly from my phone, but I want to also share, and I couldn't share and do it through my phone. It'll be a disaster, to say the least. I think the internet should be okay, but we'll see how it goes with the hotspot today, because I probably burned up all my allocation for a hotspot yesterday between the two devices. So let's talk about what happened yesterday, this weekend in fantasy football. I think the key when you start talking about the running back position is consistency. There's a lot of players that have been they haven't been as good as what the draft ranking you probably took them, like a Christian McCaffrey, or the expectation like a Christian McCaffrey, but they've been consistent. And at this point, consistency is the name of the game. There's no shame in being consistent with your team if you know for a fact these players are going to get X. There's some people that have been disappointing. Jonathan Taylor was kind of disappointing. Eckler hasn't been the guy that you thought he was going to be. So there's been a lot. So we'll look at some of the data today and we'll go through it. I'm probably going to try to go. I don't want to go past an hour because I got a lot of things I got to get done between now and 11:30 before I have to head over to the airport. So So there's a lot of interesting things that happened over the weekend. So we'll get into some questions right now. I'll pull up the data, and then we'll just have some discussion points to figure out what's the best route this week. All right. Just trying to figure this out. I got Montgomery, who is day-to-day. Would you drop Robert Woods to pick up Khalil Herbert? I would. Only because you have Montgomery. You kind of need to do it. Because if Montgomery doesn't play, Khalil Herbert will probably step right in and still get you similar production, if not better production. When he walked in the Chicago game on Sunday, he balled out of his mind. So you absolutely should. Can I adjust my camera a little bit? Bear with me, guys. Get that a little lower. Oh, I can't get it any lower than that, huh? All right. Well, all right. This is what we got. Well, actually, there's one thing I could do, but I want to risk that. Okay. All right. It's good to know that my mic's good. It's good to know. Like I could tell when I start getting choppy. So I'll know when to pause because I have a meter that tells me when it gets really choppy. But it looks like it's now stable, which is good. So why has Wilson Jr. projections skyrocket? Because he's the only guy right now in San Francisco. Like he's the only guy. So because Jeff Wilson Jr. is the only guy, then that's what you expect. You know what? Let's have a discussion about Panthers and fantasy football real quick. We'll start with the quarterback position. You're not starting Baker Mayfield. He's not a guy that you should have on your team. He should be in waivers and stay in waivers. Even the fact that bye weeks start this week, because I do believe bye weeks do start this week if I remember correctly. Let me double check that. I believe bye weeks do start this week. Or do they not? They might not have no week. Maybe bye weeks got extended to week 5. Hold on, let me check. Let's see here. 20. Let me see here. Are there any bye weeks since week 4? Let me check. Oh, no, bye week doesn't start till week 6. All right, so you got time. Yeah, so, typically the bye week line is when for the folks who are struggling with their leagues, typically when the buys start is when the opportunity comes to make you catch up. But let's talk about the Panthers real quick. So I'm not worried about Christian McCaffrey. I think Christian McCaffrey arguably could be the most consistent running back in fantasy right now. He's got an ebb and flow. You're going to get 14 to 15 points from him every week. And truth be told, I believe Christian McCaffrey is ranked. Let me see here. Let me pull up the data. Scoring leaders. Let's pull up the scoring leader data real quick. We'll do for the 20. I'll share. Let me go ahead and share. Hopefully this works. Share screen. Oh no. I might have to be kicked out and come back in. I don't know why. This should have already been set up. I'm kind of mad at myself for this. All right, hold on a second, guys. I'm going to have to jump out and jump back in. But to do that, I'm going to have to do something else. So bear with me for a quick second. This is what happens when you're live, man. This is what happens when you're live, guys. But I'm going to have to jump back out to be able. Well, actually, I might be able to share. We'll see. Hold on. Let's see. Works. Can y'all see that? Looks like y'all can. Oh, no, I can't see it. Yeah, y'all can see it. All right. I'm going to have to jump out and come back in. So give me 1 second. I got to put myself in another spot, and then I will disappear and come back. It won't take long, I promise. Oh, shit. Hold on. But I got to log in. All right. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. One second. All right, let me enter the studio real quick. Yeah, I'll allow it. All right. Okay. All right. I got the echo going. Yeah, everything. Let's we're gonna move him. All right, we'll remove him. Then I'm gonna kick myself out, come back in. I'll answer these questions before I do that though, and then we'll finish up the discussion point. 2 QB lead, Geno's fine. Two. Yeah, Geno's fine there. Yeah, we'll talk about this. I'll talk about this. All right. I'm gonna disappear. I'm gonna come back because I gotta restart my browser. So give me 1 second, guys. All right. Now we're cooking. Okay. All right, I'm back, guys. I'm assuming you guys can hear me fine. Sorry about the confusion. I just want to be able to share my browser. So give me 1 second. I don't know why. Oh, I know why it didn't work. I know why it wasn't working too, by the way. But I figured that out already. I know exactly why this is what I'm using. All right. Let me go ahead and get this up real quick. Let me go ahead and share. And then we'll get into some of these questions and talk about some of this data. All right. You guys should be able to see that. Yeah, you guys should be able to see that. All right. So we were talking about CMC. So when you go and look at CMC is still the 11th best running back in fantasy. And then when you go back and when you look at his game log, dude's been pretty consistent. Yes, Sunday was his worst game. He had 13.5 points, but 15, 16, 13. My man's been consistent. He hasn't had any breakout games, but he's been consistent. And I'd rather have a consistent guy versus a guy like this guy who hasn't been as consistent. He balled first game. He only gave me 7 and he gave me 12. Not as consistent. So I'd rather have a slow and steady, knowing that I'm going to get a certain amount of points each week, something that's dependable. It's kind of like with some wide receivers back when Wes Welker was playing for the Patriots. You knew what you were going to get from Wes Welker or Julian Edelman because you knew what you were going to get for Julian Edelman. Sometimes you need those type of players on your team. You need your home run hitters too. Don't get me wrong. But if you have a squad full of consistent guys, you're going to be in it every week, and you could potentially win because their home run guys, they sometimes can be boom and bust. So that's why. So when you talk about Christian McCaffrey, I'm not panicking about Christian McCaffrey because he's been very consistent. Now, when you look at these rankings of the players right now, man, hold on, is it ranked by fantasy? Yes, it is. Is it ranked by fantasy points? Look, man, James Robinson, third best running back in fantasy, even though it says 2, which is odd, but third best running back in fantasy. He's been pretty solid, he's been pretty consistent, pretty solid. TDs have saved him. He's gotten at least 1 TD in every game, but still, even without the TDs, it's pretty good. Can't complain. Third best running back in fantasy right now. Yeah, so somebody I'll be willing to trade for. If you could go get him. Maybe you can get him at a cheap rate. People don't realize how good he is. People are worried about NTN. Maybe you can pull the trigger and get some decent value on here. Cordell Patterson is another one. I mean, Barkley's king right now, though. Although, why is he 11th? That doesn't make any sense. I'm just so you know, I'm ranking this by fantasy points. I'm assuming you guys can see what I'm sharing, but so CMC, yeah. So let's talk about this for a second. So let's talk about the receptions for CMC. So when you talk about the receptions for CMC, we talked about this last night on PNP. The number of targets has gone down. My argument was last night when we talk about the game was that it's hard to blame Christian McCaffrey because his target share has lowered. He normally would average 8 to 10. Now he's averaging 4 to 5. So his reception share has gone down. He's turning into Derrick Henry pretty much. When you start sitting down and think about it, he's turning into Derrick Henry, right? So if you're going to have a guy that's turning into Derrick Henry, he can still do well as long as he still gets to work, but he's just not going to get the opportunities in the backfield with the screens and things of that sort anymore. So you just got to temper your expectations, but he's probably been the most consistent running back out of the bunch that's at the top of this list. He's been pretty consistent. So just keep that in mind. They just haven't updated the rankings from last week. That's why the rankings are off, by the way, because Barkley had a good game last night because he was 11th last week. So just keep that in mind. So right now, so when we count, where is McCaffrey ranked? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so he's still 11th. So he's 11th. Khalil Herbert, he had that. Khalil Herbert is interesting, and I'm going to tell you why. He had that breakout game, and that jolted him up into the top 10. You know, jolted him all the way up to the top 10 because he's 9th. Jonathan Taylor, no 1 overall pick, he's 10th. You know, but he's been struggling a bit. He had that one big game, but he's been struggling a little bit. Antonio Gibson's 12th. Remember that I did that trivia question prior to the season about Antonio Gibson? Other than the first, he's getting 11 to 12 points a game, can't complain. But when Brian Robinson comes back, this is going to be a problem unless he balls out of his mind. Eckler, disappointing, man, considering where most folks got him. And part of the reason why is because he really hasn't had the same level of opportunities that he normally would get. I mean, his floor has been 11 points. Can't complain too much there. But, he's falling. And it's going to be a concern because I think more folks are going to get involved. You got Derrick Henry, Kareem Hunt. So running backs have been rough, man. Breece Hall, you know what I'm saying? Javonte, Harris, Fournette, Najee Harris, Fournette, Damon Harris, Singletary, but Singletary had a breakout game yesterday. He had 24.1. Not consistent, though. 8, 4, then 24.1. Enough to bolt him all the way up in the top 20. I mean, Dalvin Cook, keep an eye on his injury situation. I tell you guys the handcuff for a reason. Alexander Madison, if you're a Dalvin Cook owner, should be your top pickup. The top pickup this week is probably Khalil Herbert if he's available in your league. So if Khalil Herbert's available in your league, that's what you need to go with. So, Damian Pierce is starting to pick it up a little bit. So folks are starting to pick it up a little bit. So we just got to pay attention. But look at these numbers. These are I'd rather have a consistent guy, but it all depends on what the game plan is going to be for these teams and what you believe. But yeah, I am concerned about the fact that CMC's not getting the receptions like that. That is a legitimate concern, and I think everybody should be concerned. That being said, you don't bench McCaffrey. He's still a top 10 he's still a top 12 running back in fantasy. He's still an RB1 from that standpoint. So you don't bench him by any stretch of imagination. Everybody, there's the running back position is just not as good. If you want to talk about a moment to go 0 RB so far, based on the data that we currently have after 3 weeks, I think I'm pretty confident that the teams that made the decision to go 0 RB this year are probably flourishing. They're probably flourishing compared to the teams that did RB in the first 2 rounds. They're probably flourishing because the guys that will be sitting in the later rounds that you could grab, somebody like not him, because he probably went a little higher. Well, no, he kind of fell a little bit too, but somebody like a James Robinson, because a lot of people picked NTN before James Robinson. Somebody like this guy, he's probably, and I'm amazed that there's still 12%, almost 13% of folks don't even have him on a roster. That needs to change. He needs to be 100%. So yeah, man. So, that's interesting, but I'm not panicking about Christian McCaffrey. I'm not worried about him one bit. I mean, that happens, bro. I mean, I showed y'all that last week. My worst team probably was 2-0. I think my worst team is 3-0 now. So, that's just the way it goes. I don't know if I'm dropping Darrell Henderson yet. I don't know if I'm dropping Juju yet either. I would definitely do this. So let's talk about DJ Moore. As you guys know, I did a fantasy video talking about how DJ Moore could potentially become a top 10 wide receiver this year in fantasy, based on the target share, based on if he increases his catch rate. But the problem is that he's not getting catchable balls. Most of his targets are not catchable. Matter of fact, a lot of his targets not catchable. Matter of fact, we did the data last night during the show. 60% of them are only catchable, so 40% are not. And if 40% are catchable, then that means he can't increase his rate like I anticipated he could. So with that in mind, I can't in good confidence start DJ Moore. I'm not ready to drop him yet, but I can't start him. I would try to trade him if I can, because I can't start him. I would try to trade him and see if you can get something decent back. If you can get like a flex back, a running back, RB2 or something, or maybe a low end RB2 or something like that, I would do it in a heartbeat. I would, do a suck up trade. Try to go after James Robinson for DJ Moore. Maybe they don't know how good James Robinson is playing. Maybe they're not happy with the points because right now the points are down for running backs in fantasy. Maybe you can leverage that by trading DJ Moore to somebody and getting somebody that's actually pretty good, because the name and the production don't match. So somebody like a James Robinson, where people are like, he ain't that good. He's got to worry about NTN. Maybe you can flip him for a DJ Moore. Do it in a heartbeat. I would try. Might as well. I don't have any shares of DJ Moore. So, unfortunately, the opportunities of me trying to get it, somebody always grab him right before my pick. So, those are the breaks with regards to that. So, I might have dodged the bullet there. Yeah, having CMC Barkley is a good place to be. Very good place to be. Because you, in essence, have two RB1s. Yeah. I will play Wilson Jr. in the flex. And back to the discussion about the running backs again. Normally, I've been an advocate with your flex spot to put the running back in. I think this year's a little bit different. I think you could be a little bit more flexible with regards to that, considering that you're going to be having injury challenges anyway, and the bye weeks are coming up. I'm probably going to be cool with you playing a wide receiver if he's a wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3 type of situation. So, yeah, try, man. Might as well. What's the worst that can happen? You're not going to get CMC, but you might be able to get like let's look at this real quick. You could get somebody like a Jamal Williams, like maybe a Kareem Hunt. Joe Mixon is hurt. Maybe somebody's panicking there. Maybe a Breece Hall. These are guys are ranked in the top 20. I'll take that over what the hell I'm getting out of DJ Moore. Let's look at the wide receivers real quick. Look at the wide receivers. Here's your top wide receivers in fantasy right now. Diggs, we know. Kupp, we know. Ballin. St. Brown, out of his mind. He's going to win a lot of folks' leagues this year, but he's hurt, so we got to figure that out. Waddle, Ballin, Hill, 2 top 5 wide receivers for the Dolphins. Christian Kirk, I knew that he had the potential to be really good. I liked him a lot. I didn't think it was going to be this good. AJ. So I think there's going to be a lot of leagues with dominant teams. Like, for example, there's a legitimate scenario where somebody could have Tyreek Hill, Christian Kirk, Tyreek Hill, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Cooper Kupp, Amon-Ra St. Brown. You're going to see these type of squads, and they're going to be scary. So just, be prepared. Marquise Brown, he's balling. It'll be interesting to see what happens once DeAndre Hopkins suspension is over. He has a 6-game suspension right now, so ride the Marquise Brown train for the next 3 weeks. But he's got a tough matchup this week against Carolina because he's going to probably go up. He's going to go up against J.C. Horn. Curtis Samuel, he's balling. Top 10 wide receiver in fantasy, man. Somebody that wasn't drafted in some leagues too. Matter of fact, he's probably 100% now. But look, he's still available in about 18, almost 19%, 17% of leagues. Justin Jefferson, he's faltering a little bit, but he's still a wide receiver 1. Okay, I'm rolling. Devontae Adams, same thing. Amari Cooper was surprising. So these are the numbers for the season so far. Since everybody's played 4 games, is a good way to look at it. Now, if we want to talk about who was balling in week 4, here's your ballers. Well, not week 4, excuse me. Week 3. I apologize. Here's your ballers for week 3. Devonta Smith. I had him on my bench. That won't be the case anymore. Look at Matt Collins. He's available in a lot of leagues, guys. You should go after him. He's only rostered in 1% of leagues. Matt Collins, if you need a wide receiver help, you should go get Matt Collins, especially as long as Renfro's out. He's getting opportunity. He can mess around and take over. He might end up being a 2 when it's all said and done. Marquise Brown, we talked about him. Russell Gage might be a smoke screen, but there's a lot of injuries on the wide receiver core side of the Bucks. So if he's available in leagues, you can go grab him. But Zay Jones is interesting. Being the number 2 wide receiver in Jacksonville might not be a bad thing right now. I know they're a run-first team, but Zay Jones is going to get the opportunities. All right, target share. First game he had 9. Second game, 4. Last game he had 11. So I like Zay Jones if he's available in your league. And you're probably pretty sure he is. Chris Olave. He's rostered in most leagues, but you never know. He might be around. Somebody might have been mad. I know I dropped him in one league. I got to go back and go get him. That was one of my situations where I kind of got rid of him too soon. I can admit to that. Marquise Brown. Anybody that you say, I talked about it at the beginning. I talked about it earlier. If you have DJ Moore, I am in no confidence. You cannot start him. You cannot start him. Can't start him. It depends, man. Who do you have other than Stafford? Because you know how I feel about having 2 quarterbacks in fantasy. So if Stafford's your backup, if you got 2 quarterbacks, Stafford's one of your quarterbacks, yeah, I would drop him. Yeah, Marquise. Look, man, I'm done. I'm done going after. I'm done starting DJ Moore until I do not want you guys starting DJ Moore until further notice. I know we're all Panthers fans here. Some of you aren't, but for those who have DJ Moore, I would not start him. Nope, I'm not starting him. I don't trust Baker Mayfield. I don't trust Ben McAdoo. I'm not starting him. He's distributed. The problem is that, and I know how some people feel about fantasy football because I know Rashad doesn't play fantasy football. But even he thinks that DJ Moore should get more targets. But it goes back to what I've been trying to tell folks. You can't get more targets for a guy if you're trying to spread the ball around. And they want to spread the ball around. That's going to impact DJ more than any other wide receiver. Because they're trying to spread the ball around. The guys that get the bulk of the targets are going to suffer. Who got the bulk of the targets last season? DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey. That's why DJ Moore's targets are down. And that's why Christian McCaffrey's targets are down. Besides the fact and the thing that's crazy is DJ Moore is leading the team in targets. But Laviska Shenault currently has more receiving yards than DJ Moore. He got more receiving yards in one game than what DJ Moore got in 3. So, got to sit him. When I told Rashad that, he was shocked. He couldn't believe it. But DJ Moore has 88 yards receiving, and Shenault has 90. Oh, you got Kirk Cousins? I mean, if you're willing to roll with Kirk Cousins, then, man, go for it. But I think I would wait on Stafford. I think Stafford's going to pick it up. CMC is ranked 11th in fantasy football right now, so he is an RB1. In 12-team leagues, he's an RB1, guys. So he is an RB1. You start him every week. No reason to panic. No reason to panic about CMC because none of the running backs are playing well. None of the top flight running backs are playing well, and CMC has been the most consistent. So CMC's got a better floor than any of the other running backs that I've seen. So you play CMC every week. Yep, I think he is, but there's going to be games though. He might not be consistent, man, but he's getting a decent enough target share. Let's pull up Devonta Smith one more time real quick because let me go back and look at his data. So, I mean, if he's got a 7 target, like first game, he only got 4 targets. He didn't get no points. All right, got it, right? And it's funny. He didn't get 0. He got no points in the first game, but he's probably ranked. I think he's ranked higher than 18th. Let me pull 22 season. He's ranked, where's he at? Oh, he is ranked 18th. There he is. Okay. So, yeah, he's wide receiver 2, flex status. He's going to be playing in my flex. But, I'll take week 1 as, all right, he just had a bad day. But the rest of the games, he's gotten at least 7. He's got 7. Those are 2 games. He got 7 targets and he got 12 targets. So, Jalen Hurts is looking for him. So, that's a good sign. I like my chances with that. So, yeah, I would start him every week. CMC is the top 12 running back, guys. Based on the points, based on the average, he's a top 12 running back. And because he's a top 12 running back, you know what that means. You have to start him. He's your RB1. I mean, he's not now, and I know it's easy to say, well, let's consider what the expectation is, but I think a lot of running backs are disappointing. Because CMC, all right, let's put it to perspective. Right now, let's go back to the running back rankings to give you the perspective that you need to see. Right now, CMC has one less than 1 point than Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor went number 1 overall. He's got more points than Oscar Eckler. He's got more points than Derrick Henry. All right. He's got more points than a lot of running backs. I mean, the dude's ranked 11th. He's ranked, this says 10th, but it's really 11th because Barkley jumped up and I don't think they put his ranking in. They haven't updated his ranking. So he's ranked 11th. I mean, in a 12-team league, he's startable. So he's the low-end RB1, but he's still an RB1 nevertheless. Swift is going to fall because he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. So, by the way, guys, if you don't have Jamal Williams and he's available in over half of leagues, you need to get him because it looks like Swift is going to be out for a couple of weeks. So, you know, he's going to fall. Jamal Williams is going to rise. Aaron Jones, you know, people can say what they want about Aaron Jones. He only had 5 points last week, but he's 6th. He's 7th in fantasy right now. What do you want me to say? So just look at the guys that are at the top. A lot of these guys weren't drafted in the first 3 rounds. Right? Some were drafted, like, you know, Barkley was probably in the 3rd. Chubb was probably in the 2nd. Robinson was near the bottom, 9th, 10th, 11th. Edwards-Helaire probably in the 3rd. Swift, 2nd. Cordell, down. Past 4th, 5th round. So let's put it this way. 0 RB guy, 0 RB guy, 0 RB guy, 0 RB guy, 0 RB guy. So, like, a lot of the guys that were 0 RB guys are ranked near the top right now. But it's only 3 weeks, so we'll see what happens. 0 RB guy. And when I say 0 RB guy, that means at wide receiver, that means you're probably drafting in the first 3 or 4 rounds, you're drafting Kupp, Diggs, Jefferson, Hill, maybe even Waddle, Andrews or Kelsey. Let's look at tight ends. Look at these rankings. Who drafted Tyler Conklin? Anybody? But I'm more interested in the delta between 1 and 2 and everybody else. Look at this. Just look at this. Look at this. Look at the points. Look at the big gap between 1 and 2. And I mean 1, 2, and then 3. Look at the gap. This is what I try to explain to you guys when you talk about tight ends. If you're not getting one of the top 2 guys, you're struggling because there is a big drop-off after Kelsey. A 16-point difference between Kelsey and the 3rd guy, who's Tyler Conklin, who most of you guys ain't drafted, is probably available in some of your leagues. So if Conklin's available and you got somebody like Firmouth, Njoku, Everett, I would go ahead. Even Hawkinson. And by the way, man, Hawkinson's ranked 12th. So you can understand, and Hawkinson has 24.2, and he's been disappointing, by the way, guys. But his fantasy wasteland status, 24.2 points. All right. 16 points less than my guy, Tyler Conklin. Tight ends are a wasteland. Tight ends are a wasteland. That's what you should be doing. Play them both. I will play them both. James Robinson should be starting, though. He's at RB1 right now, so he should be starting. So you try to play them both. Put them both in. I hope you're paying attention, man. Your headphones better not be on, and I better not hear my voice in the classroom, man. That's the last thing I need. Yeah, if you had Swift, that's a bad call. Well, you ain't wasted it yet. Cam Akers had a good game yesterday, didn't he? I don't think you wasted it yet. Let me check out Cam Akers real quick. I don't think you wasted it yet, man. I mean, 10 points. He's getting the carries, though. He's getting the work. What did Henderson do yesterday? What did Henderson do yesterday? Just curious. Oh, he ain't do nothing. Good God. Yeah, so Henderson's off, Akers is on. I think the biggest fear you're going to have right now with regards to the backfield of the Rams is whether or not well, I told you guys I wasn't a fan of Cam Akers, but it's more of a matter of whether or not they're going to do it based on scheme and matchups. If they're going to make moves, if they're going to play the running backs based on that, that's going to be a headache. How much money should I go for Conklin? Virtual budget? I would probably use 15 to 20% on Conklin if you're really needed for a tight end. Actually, I probably would use no more than 10%. 10 to 15. No more than 15%. If you really need a tight end help. Because the thing about it goes back to the wasteland status, right? Conklin can start busting again because he hasn't played with Zach Wilson. When Zach Wilson comes back, that could change. So that's a lot of things. That's the thing you got to factor into. The problem is that the way that Sean McVay might want to utilize his running backs is that he might have a split system and it's going to be based on matchup. He might just rotate them by possessions. It's a mess. That's why I don't like drafting running backs that are in messes. I like drafting running backs that are defined. And that's something that I've always tried to explain to folks. That's why when you make the decision to draft the zero RB strategy, you have to consider your options. I did zero RB in my 2 QB league. I typically historically do that because most of the time I tend to take quarterbacks early and then I go with wide receivers next. So I go quarterbacks, wide receivers, and then I look into the running back pile. And this round, when I did, because typically what ends up happening, I would take Josh Allen first. Then I would come back around and take either whatever the other quarterback is available, whether it's Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, or whoever. I ended up with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson as my 2 quarterbacks. So, that gives me a distinct advantage every single week. And so I felt like, all right, I can do zero RB and I get wide receivers. Then I think about the running back situation. And I think my running backs are in that league, A.J. Dillon. And let me see, who are my running back there? My running back one, I believe, is A.J. Dillon. But then, then you're forced to take guys that you don't like. Like I have Miles Sanders on this team. Let me check it real quick, though, I'll check it real quick. How am I using app? Dismiss. I know I won. Yeah, my running backs are A.J. Dillon and Jamal Williams. My wide receivers are Curtis Samuel and Bateman. I have Godwin on the bench. I have Cooks on the bench. And I have Jamal Williams on the bench. Jamal Williams is about to get moved up. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a problem for these guys because my team is very dominant. I'm the highest scoring team in the league. Oh, and by the way, I have Travis Kelce as well. So I went full bore on the zero RB game. So yeah, my team is going to be a terror for a while, which is going to be unfortunate for them. But yeah, my running backs right now are Jamal Williams, Javonte Williams, and A.J. Dillon. And on my bench, I have NTN, Miles Sanders at running back. My backup quarterback is Carson Wentz because I prefer to play 2 quarterbacks every week. But my starting quarterbacks are Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. So my team is, if all goes well, it should be fine. Yeah, dude, if you don't have Kelce or Andrews, everybody else is going to be random. Dawson Knox is ranked. Where is Dawson Knox? We can clear a search here. Dawson Knox is ranked. Let's see here. Where's Dawson Knox at? Dawson Knox. There he is. 23rd. All right. So let's go over the top 12 tight ends in fantasy. We will name them in order based on fantasy points so far this season. Mark Andrews is number 1. Travis Kelce is number 2. Tyler Conklin is number 3. Zach Ertz is number 4. Darren Waller is number 5. Dallas Goedert is number 6. Tyler Higbee is number 7. Gerald Everett is number 8. David Njoku is number 9. Pat Freiermuth is number 10. Will Dissly is number 11. TJ Hockenson is number 12. And for the sake, y'all give you 3 more. Logan Thomas is number 13. Evan Ingram is number 14. Kyle Pitts, who I try to tell you guys to wait, is number 15. Kyle Pitts is actually back on track, though. I will say that. He's back. He's finally taking advantage of the target share that he's getting. So I'm not too worried about Kyle Pitts as much. he could start climbing the rankings now. Irv Smith Jr. is number 16. But this is the guy that wasn't drafted. But he's getting the proper target share. If you can get a tight end that's getting 5 targets a game, that's what you need to roll with. How many targets is Conklin getting? 7, 9, 8. I love it. I'm just worried about what happens when he comes back with Zach Wilson. What about when Zach Wilson returns? What about Zach Ertz? 4, 11, 10. Love it. He's probably going to go down once Hopkins comes back, but I still think he'll get at least the 5 target minimum that I want. Darren Waller, his target share should climb a little bit, but last week, Renfro, he only got 5 targets. But 5 targets is the floor if I want from a tight end. But still, considering where you drafted this guy high, you would expect 8 to 9 targets from him. So keep that in mind. Dallas got it. All right. 4-6-4. Touchdown dependent guy. Unless he gets the 6 targets. But, those are the breaks. Tyler Higbee. 11-9-4. Target share went down a little bit here, but he still took advantage of it because he caught all 4. So that worked out for him. Gerald Everett. 4-10-6. Like that. He ain't execute this week, but he's getting the proper target share from my perspective. David Njoku. 1-5-10. Trending in the right direction. Can't complain right now. So I like what I see. Pat Freiermuth, 10-7-4 is going the wrong direction, but I think he'll probably still be good for 5 a game typically. Will Dissly. This one's interesting. 3-2-3, TD dependent. Stay away. TJ Hawkinson, 7-7-4. Target share went down. Luckily, the TD saved them. Not too worried, but something to monitor. Logan Thomas, 6-5-3. Not going the right way. But the emergence of Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson, and of course you still got Terry McLaurin. That'll do that to you. So those are the breaks with that position. Anybody else to start on the Dolphins? Yeah, you can start Waddle, you can start Hill, and I like Chase Edmonds. You can start Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds is a flex play. Depending on what happens with Tua is startable. Low end though, very low end. So temper your expectations in regards to that. He did get concussed last week. That's just tough luck. I started Tua in 2 leagues, so it was just tough luck on my end. I think the Dolphins have a lot of weapons. I mean, you can still start Hill, you can still start Waddle. I like Chase Edmonds as a flex. Mostert, not as much. Tua, low end QB1. QB2 league. If you got 2 QB2 leagues, you could definitely he's the starter there. So, Yeah. Wasn't a big fan. Like Devontae's going to be fine. I wasn't a big fan of Derek Carr as a fantasy quarterback, even with Devontae Adams there. In theory, he should have been. I think the bigger issue is Josh McDaniels as a coach. If you got an empty roster spot or somebody that's useless, and I'm not saying that, and let me be clear, I know DJ Moore's been disappointing. DJ Moore is still not droppable right now. But if you have like an empty roster spot, somebody that you think that you know for a fact will never hop in your roster, and you want to take a flyer, go for it. This will be the time to do it. Typically, when it comes to going for flyers, you want to do it a week before everybody else. I'm not sure about when Jameson Williams is supposed to come back, but Brian Robinson will probably come back sooner than later. Let me see what the reports are saying about Jameson Williams real quick. I don't know how much of a factor he's going to be either. So let's be clear there. Oh, there's no timetable. All right. So he tore his ACL in January. If he tore his ACL in January, he might not be back. He might not be back until like the second half of the season. So I don't know if James Williams is worth a flyer. I think Brian Robinson probably would be because I think he's closer to returning. So he's eligible week 5. So yeah, I would take a flyer on Robinson if you need a running back. All right. I've been at it for about 45 minutes. I will take some more questions, but I gotta hang it up very soon because I got a lot of things I got to get done between now and at 11:30. So I gotta pack. I gotta make these beds. I gotta clean up real quick. Gotta make sure we don't leave this house in in a different situation than what it was. So I got a couple things I gotta get done. All right. So this was fun. I was glad to be able to do this. If you guys don't know, man, you guys need to become a Patreon because I do answer questions through fantasy all around the clock. So this week I will answer fantasy questions in the general area. Typically, you have to be franchised to get fantasy questions answered. So and we do have some intensive discussions in the fantasy football Discord. So please, ma'am, please, sir, if you got any questions, that's the place where to get me. I'll occasionally answer some on Twitter, but the bulk of them I answer are on Patreon. So if you and it helps the channel out a lot, man. I know you guys think that this channel it costs money to do this stuff, man. It's not cheap. So we haven't done a monthly Zoom in a while. I got to talk to Rashad to try to line one up. Probably do a pretty good one because it's been a minute. It's long overdue. So, bro, I would love Flores to come to Carolina. I would love it because I just want an NFL head coach. I think he can coach. I mean, we could have a debate on whether or not he can coach or not. I think he can coach. I think what he did to close out the season last year before he got fired tells you that he can coach and he can motivate his men. So, I mean, he can coach, I think. Yeah, if he bites it, I hope he does. I mean, Patterson's balling again, man. I'll be honest, I didn't think Patterson was gonna do this again. But here we are. And I don't think a lot of folks thought he was gonna do this again either. All right. I think I've covered all your questions. Appreciate it. Yes, absolutely. Follow me here, man. This is my personal Twitter account. Maybe I should change it to Dave from PNP as my title, as my name. All right. So we done now. We're going to finish this up. Appreciate you guys coming. My apologies for not getting it done at the normal time frame. Plan is to get back on track and do it Tuesday night. So if you can, hit that like button. Hit that notification bell so you know when we're on. As always, we go live every Monday night. Tomorrow, we are going to do the game preview with a Cardinals pot YouTuber. Let me see if I can pull up the banner. I might have the banner up here so I can pull it up potentially. I don't know if it's up here or not. Nope, it's not. It's not up there yet. But so we got that going tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it should be a fun show. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it. Go on YouTube real quick. I do want to pull it up. I want to pull it up. Yeah. Let's see here. The Cardinal Rule. So the Cardinal Rule, the Cardinal Rule is going to be with us tomorrow, and we're going to go over the Cardinals game. We'll ask a good question. We'll ask the questions about how he feels about the fact that the Panthers don't have their number and whether or not that's going to change this go around. So thanks, guys. Like, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Follow the channel on Twitter at PantherNationPC. Follow me on Twitter at ChampD1012. And I'm out, guys. Peace.